I just think guests fall into habits, their own personal habits. And if you are a mom or dad with two kids in the car and you can't get out, you need to go to the drive-through. And, for other people, I happened to be at a Starbucks a few weeks ago and I was watching the way customers obtain their coffee. And I was really blown away that it was three distinct methods. It was people going to the drive-through, it was people walking in who had placed their order in advance and they just picked it up off the counter, and it was people who walked in, walked up to the counter, placed their order, and paid. And I firmly believe that if you are not playing in all of those channels like that, as a restaurant concept, you're just going to lose guests. If you don't have ease of order ability through your online portal, they're going to go somewhere else. And if you don't have third party delivery when they go to one of the third party app providers, then they're just going to order from somebody else. So you have to play in all those channels today. And it wasn't like that 5 and 6 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, the restaurant industry is really interesting because it's a traditional industry in which it's existed for such a long time, but it also doesn't adopt a lot of the traditional business structures like human resources and certain operations. I'm curious, have you worked in any other industries other than food and beverage?
So my background's actually public accounting, and I was a partner at a firm in Louisville, Kentucky. I was in public accounting for 15 years, and I'll segue and tell you how I got into the restaurant space. Back in a little older than you are, back in the 80s, a buddy of mine and came to a friend and I worked together in public accounting, and another buddy of ours came to us and was looking to become a Papa John's franchisee. And he asked us, excuse me, if we would put some projections together for him. And we did, and liked what we saw. And we said, you know what? Let's become Papa John's franchisees. So we were in our 20s, met with Papa John's, liked what they had to say. And that was my introduction into the restaurant space. And I stayed in public accounting full time in Louisville. And the restaurants that we opened were in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we had 11 of them that we eventually opened over about a 10-year period. And I was in Cincinnati every weekend working on our restaurants, and then back to public accounting on a full-time job Monday through Friday and Saturday during tax season. And so that really exposed me to the restaurant space about how this is such a pennies business. It's a pennies business with food cost, and it's a pennies business with labor cost in particular, because the margins can be so thin in the space. You have to control all of those on a daily basis, and you have to really control all of those with each order that goes out. So for example, if a small sandwich has, let's call it 3 ounces or 4 ounces of meat on it, and you walk in and they happen to put 6 ounces on your sandwich, they can't not put any meat on the next sandwich to make up for it. And so that's where it really kind of becomes the land of lost opportunity, and on the food cost side. And on the labor, you just have to manage that with, looking at it. And we look at it in 15-minute increments at Penn Station, and we have a scheduling program for the franchisees so that they can look at it that way, because you have to control that, not daily, you have to control it hourly, or you're never going to maximize your return.